Well,
Hmm.
going off another piece that you wrote, remembering Kobe, and you had talked about the relationship between Kobe and Michael. I think the thing that I enjoyed most about reading that piece that you did was it seemed like just the whole basketball world kind of some way you were able to talk to the basketball world throughout that. So for you on the day where we found out the news about Kobe Bryant, kind of what was it like for you one, but also what was it like texting and hearing? Was it chaotic? How was it hearing from Charles
Yeah,
Barkley, Michael, and the
yeah, it
sincere
was.
emotions from it?
Well, I was actually in Colorado. I was at Breckenridge skiing.
Hmm.
My daughter lives in Colorado, so my husband and I took a vacation. A very rare in-season vacation. We just were doing a long weekend. We flew out there. We didn't missed our daughter. We were skiers. We love to ski. So
Hmm.
we were at the top of the mountain. It's right around lunchtime, I think, in Denver time. And some total stranger came up to me, and I get recognized from time to time, but I had ski gear on. I was surprised, and he said, "Oh my God, isn't it awful?" I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he said,
Yeah.
"You haven't heard." Now I had my phone in my jacket,
Yeah.
but I was not working. I wasn't looking at my phone.
Hmm.
And to be honest, my I could tell
Hmm.
something horrible had happened. And my first thought was, oh no, something happened to Larry Bird.
Hmm.
Because people equate me with Larry Bird because I'm from Boston and I covered him and I wrote books with him. And I'm like, oh my God, something
Yeah.
happened to Larry. And he said, Kobe. I said, what about him? He said, he died. And I said, I said, this isn't funny. He said, no, no, he died in a helicopter crash. And I was just, my daughter was with me. We were just stunned, like
Hmm.
stunned. I just, so I got my phone out, and of course my phone had blown up. If I wasn't skiing, I would have heard it.
Yeah.
So I'm at the top of a mountain, and I'm not like at the top of the mountain where you can just ski to the bottom. I got to ski here and over to here, and then I got to take this gondola down, and then I ended up just skiing down. And I had to take a bus to get back to the condo, and I did have my laptop with me because we always have our laptops with us.
Hmm.
So I'm riding back on this bus with my skis, and I've left my family behind, and I'm like, it just felt very surreal. And then I'm starting to hear from people that I work with, and so when I got back to the condo, I kind of just had to compose myself a minute because it was very shocking. And I liked Kobe a lot. Kobe was
Hmm.
great to me and many other journalists. He played us all like a fiddle. He was very sweet. But I had a lot of personal interactions with him, and so when I started calling these guys,
Hmm.
they were all in tears, all of them. Now,
Hmm.
Jordan, I just texted, and it's funny. I have Jordan's text number. I never use it, never.
Hmm.
I think this might have been the second time ever I've ever done it. And I said to him, I never reach out to you like this, but all I can think of is Kobe and that story we did.
Hmm.
And that's when he texted me, no words, I can't even talk right now. And a lot of people later said to me, well, that was a little dramatic, wasn't it? This is before he had done the service. I said, no, 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 you guys don't understand. Like, he really cares about Kobe. And I knew that from my conversation with him. But Barkley, he was in tears. All these guys, Jerry West could barely speak.
Hmm.
It was a very tough day. And as a journalist, the last thing you want to do is be reaching out to these people who are suffering. But
Hmm.
thankfully, most of them understood the job.
Yeah, yeah. So I know, going into the relationship with Kobe and Shaq was, volatile earlier days, at least to say the least. And, it seemed like that a lot of people think that's the reason why that title contending team broke down. Um, at least the general public thinks that. But it seems like as soon as Shaq kind of retired, the relationship evolved into a friendship. And it seemed like they were getting into a stage of where they were great friends. And that day that Kobe passed, unfortunately, I've never seen Shaq like that. I've never seen him where he just didn't seem like himself. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't joking around. I've never seen Shaq act like that. Can you talk about the relationship from playing together and how it evolved into the friendship that we see or we saw?
Yeah, I think it was a little more complicated than that, to be honest. It was Shaq's team.
Hmm.
Kobe was a rookie, and Kobe wanted it to be his team.
Hmm.
It really was as simple as that. Two alpha males, very competitive. Both wanted to win, but both really thought they should be number one. And in
Hmm.
the early going, for those three titles that they won, Shaq really was the number one. And
Hmm.
then Kobe was getting better, and Shaq was getting older, and Shaq's body was breaking down a bit. And then, so you have the split. By the end, by the time they left, by the time Shaq left, they really hated one another. I mean, there was a time period, and I don't care what they always like to say, oh, it was all for you, it was all for show. No, it wasn't. They really disliked one another. But almost immediately after they got some time and distance, which is true with everybody, I think. If you have an argument with someone, or you're just tired of seeing the same person day in and out, you put a little space between you, and nothing looks as bad as it did before. And I think that's what happened. And I think that happened over time. And yet I still think they were very competitive with one another. They were able to turn it off and put aside their differences around their children. Both of them were excellent at that. They never brought their families or their children into their little rivalry. They always treated each other's kids with great respect and affection. So that was all genuine. And I think near the end, I think Kobe and Shaq came to an understanding. But I think the emotions you saw from Shaq, it was really more, I think, and this is just my opinion, regret. I never really made it completely right with that guy. I figured we had the rest of our lives to do that, and man, we never really did quite get it right. That's my interpretation.